that changed, but that was when nobody was on the streets, except for, I guess, homeless and heroin. Homeless.
Not that bad. But it's worse than it was.
Yeah, I felt like de Blasio messed it up.
Yeah, Adams tightened it up a little bit. He hired back some of the police. You know, he's enforcing some more of the laws that Adams, that de Blasio let go. Now, de Blasio was pretty much a disaster. It's really disappointing. I mean, it seems like almost deliberate destruction. We'll see. There's a lot of powerful people in New York. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
What the response is to this guy.
Do you think a lot of people actually came out to vote when he won? No, it's not.
No, a lot of people did not.
Okay.
Now the word is that it's actually more than usually show up in a primary. And that number was about 700,000, or 22% of the people who are registered to vote, who usually do vote. People don't show up in primaries very much. Everybody assumed it was going to be Cuomo.
And how do we know they don't cheat?
Well,
How do we stop them from cheating?
You don't know that something isn't happening. If you have an idea that something is happening, then you need evidence that it's happening.
Yeah, but the first time when Trump lost, I had so much evidence.
What did Trump lose?
I had like three stories of evidence, but what'd you say?
What did he lose? When did he lose?
There.
2020?
Yeah. There were much evidence for no people who had
I can't hear you. It might be my fault. This might be this one area of my house I don't have a signal.
and she voted. No,
it's alright, it's her connection.
I think it's making now.
Yeah, you're in the matrix.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
I'm not
So, Norm, you here?
Yeah.
So there was one situation where my friend is a Republican, and she voted on election day, and she followed when it registered, and it registered two weeks after election day. And then somebody in my family who's a Democrat got 3 ballots, one and one in her address in her maiden name.
Yeah. I mean, there's a system that if there's a duplicate, it's automatically triggered electronically.
Unless you close your eyes to it, no? Or turn off that glitch while you're at those elections, who knows?
And I don't make stuff up because it doesn't help to understand. Looking at that.
happens every time. So if you have evidence of it, then you can see if it happening. If not, then there's no point in making stuff up.
Amy, as of
מה קורה, נפתלי?
בסדר.
Thank you.
A lot of people, a lot of people.
Can't hear you.
Say it slowly. And then motion.
Big Zil, freaking internet, J-Lo.
I think she's driving.
I'm driving.
You drive, that,
טוב, מה, הוא שומע רגע?
שומע, בוא.
דיברתי עם דן, ואני אסיים עוד 2 חברות לקפריסין.
הופה, מתי?
אמצע או סוף יולי.
עכשיו, יאללה, נו.
אמצע.
יש מלונות ודברים, כאילו,
אמרתי, נדבר איתו.
קצת עמוס עכשיו בקפריסין, לא?
כן, אבל לא מטוס לאירופה, לא יודע. במצב של עכשיו.
קפריסין זה לא כזה אירופה, זה ממש פה ליד ישראל.
בדיוק, בגלל זה אני לא רוצה עכשיו אירופה.
לא, אבל אני אומר, תבדקו שבאמת יש מלונות שכיוונו סתם על זה, ואין מלונות עכשיו בכל מלא.
דיברתי לדן שנדבר איתו.
יאללה, עשו, תהנו, למה לא? זהו, בשביל זה עצרת אותם?
טוב מאוד, טוב מאוד.
כן, דיברו...
מה נעשה, אחי?
דיברו שטויות, וג'יילו בלי אינטרנט, שזה הכי מעצבן.
והמטומטם הזה מדבר ומגן על המפלגה שלו.
לא, תקח אותו ברצינות.
למה אתם נותנים לזה יד? לא רוצים לשמוע את זה, אומרים עברית בלבד, רוצים לדבר אנגלית, שתפו חדר, לכו לג'ייב.
לא היה פה אף אחד. רק הם...
אני יצאתי כי הם דיברו באנגלית, זה לא מעניין.
איפה חנה? לא אמרה לעבוד?
לא יודעת, היא אמרה לפני שעה שהיא עוד חצי שעה יוצאת.
נו. חצי שעת אובססיבית, למה אתה מטריד אותה?
לא נעים לי, זה יותר מדי.
היא אובססיבית אמיתית, לא אובססיבית אמיתית.
לא, אתה יודע, אובססיבית, אבל נותנת לה לישון. היא לא כאילו מציקה לה כל היום.
לא תחסום אותי, אני מפחדת.
חנה בעולם לא תחסום אותה. אלא אם תפקדי בה כמו אורלי.
לא, חס וחלילה. אבל עברנו שלב, אתה יודע למה?
לעמוד.
היא התחילה לכתוב לי בשפת אם שלה. כנראה מרגישה בנוח.
יודעת שזה לא השפת אם שלה.
בסדר, כן, אני לא פותח לדבר. שפת האם כאילו שפת האמא שלה.
שפת האמא שלה לאוקראינית, לא רוסית.
אבל היא... רוב האוקראינים לא באמת יודעים אוקראינית, הם מדברים רוסית.
טוב שהם יודעים.
בסדר.
הם מבינים רוסית. דלית מאור, אל תשאלי אותי.
טוב, כי היא מורידה הכל.
לגבי מה?
אוקראינים.
זה תלוי איזה דור. דווקא חושב שהדור של ההורים של חנה לא ידעו אוקראינית. הרוסים לא נתנו להם לדבר בשפה שלהם, רק ברוסים. הם שלטו עליהם כמה? 70-80 שנה? אבל מי שממש זקנים, והדור הצעיר שעכשיו כאילו רוצה, אתה יודע, פטריוטיות אוקראינית הזה, מחיים את השפה מחדש. אבל אתה יודע, זה לא שונה בהרבה.
If you want to sell your house,
זה לא שונה בהרבה.
less. But listen up,
זה סתם בראש שלהם, זה
because
שזה
you will buy
שונה.
your house
זה
from
אומרים חרב
as
וזה אומרים
is,
גט.
no matter what condition it's in. On top of that, you
לא,
will
זה לא.
cover your
ממש
rent,
זה כמו סורית
mortgage,
ומצרי.
and any moving expenses that you have during this
זה
whole
השוואה יותר
process.
מדויקת. סורית
אחי,
ומצרי.
אפילו כל ההשפות הסלאביות זה אותו דבר, לא שאתה בדיוק אחרת.
לא בדיוק, אבל דומה, כן. כאילו נגיד השפות של יוגוסלביה, אתה יודע, סרבית ורומנית ודברים, זה גם בא מסלאבית, אבל זה לא. זה לא דומה בכלל לזה. צ'כית, כל זה מאוד דומה לנו, להם ולמה שהם. אוקראינית זה כמעט אחד לאחד. גם זה אותם אנשים, אתה יודע, הם לא שונים בהרבה.
מה ההבדל בין זונה רוסיה לזונה אוקראינית?
מחיר, הרוסיות עולות יותר.
זה הכל.
יש את המולדוביאניות שהם הכי כאילו,
Why do you still post?
הם הבררה של הבררה, הם באוקראינה אין זונה. אתה מבין? כאילו, מולדובה זה מדינה אחרת. זה דומה, לנו זה יראה אותו דבר.
אוקיי, אני אשאל שאלה באנגלית. שימו טוב לב לשאלה. What's the difference between a drug dealer and a prostitute?
Go ahead, what is it?
Give a chance to Mao. Eli.
Okay. Mahor, what's the difference?
מה ההבדל בין סוחר סמים לזונה?
In English.
What's the
שהוא
difference?
סוחר סמים ואותה סוחרים.
לא יודע, נו.
A prostitute can wash her crack. And reuse it.
ווש דר מה?
Wash her crack.
Crack.
Her crack.
קראק?
Yeah.
Crack and reuse it.
הבנת
אתה
מה?
מתכוון, סוחר סמים של קראק. אוקיי, חשבתי כאילו שבאופן כללי סוחר סמים. אוקיי.
זוכר סמי, הוא לא, בשום מקרה הוא לא יכול לשטוף את החומר שלו.
בסדר, קראק זה חומר ספציפי שמוכרים אותו בעיקר בארצות הברית, בארץ אין את זה. אני האסוציאציה שלי שמוכר סמים זה, אתה יודע, הרואין וקוק.
וואו. עכשיו סיפרתי לך על החברה שאנחנו עושים לה מסיבה בווילה, כי היא עובדת לחו"ל.
כן.
הבת זונה עברה אתמול לקנדה לחצי
בת
שנה.
1000. בלי להודיע לכם? ולא עשיתם
לא,
במסיבה?
כוסו.
והתארגנתם על כסף, אלכוהול וזה, לא?
לא, בסוף לא עשינו לו כלום.
גם זה באמת.
אחי, היא לא את אנגלית,
רגע, היא עוברת לאן? לקנדה?
באמת, באיזה פוטנציאל יכל להיות לי.
היא עוברת לקנדה?
עברה לקנדה אתמול.
לאן לקנדה? זה מסוכן עכשיו. זה סוכן לעבור לקנדה.
חכה רגע.
Ooh.
Your friend.
She went to the shop.
חבור, אתה לא מפגר מעצים. שלחתי לך את המיקום. עכשיו היא העלתה לסטורי מיקום שכאילו רשום קנדה, אבל היא העלתה את זה עם קיי, לא עם סי. שאתה מבין את הרמה של האנגלית.
שלחת איפה?
באינסטגרם.
אז תצייני שזה, כי אין לי נוטיפיקיישן של אינסטגרם, אבל
אוקיי, סליחה.
רק שאומרים לי, כאילו, מה? לשם, באמת? בסדר, אז שם אין הרבה אנטישמי. אבל זה חור תחת.
אבל תראה לך שהוא קנדה עם קיי.
מי רשם את זה? למה רשמו את זה ככה?
שתבין.
אבל המקום הזה זה שממה, אתה יודע, זה אמצע של
איזה
מקום
בית
כזה.
יפה יש לו, תקשיב.
כן, אבל זהו, אי אפשר לצאת מהבית. זה רק הבית, ותצאת עם האוטו לקניון, וגם הוא מתחת לאדמה מחומה. הכל שם קרח כל זמן.
לא
שלג.
יודעת, היא אמרה לי שהולכת כאילו לעבוד במסיבות נגיד, אז היא הולכת להיות בדוכנית.
היא עברה לבד או עם המשפחה?
עם הבן זוג שלה,
בת
אבל
כמה
הוא
היא?
חוזר 18.
בת 8. רגע, היא לא הולכת לצבא?
עוד חצי שנה.
אז היא נסעה לקנדה לחצי שנה לעבוד.
כן.
חשבתי שהיא עברה לקנדה.
לא, אני אגיד לך מה. היא נוסעת לבייביסיטר לאיזה ילד, והמשפחה מאוד קרובים אליהם, כאילו המשפחה שלו. אז הם אמרו לה, אם היא רוצה להמשיך לעשות לבייביסיטר בחו"ל, כי הם עושים רילוקיישן, אז היא הסכימה, וכאילו היא עושה גם בייביסיטר, וגם עכשיו הולכת לעבוד בפארקים, כל החרא.
יופי, אחלה שתעשה כסף לא?
כן.
הזונה.
סרור.
אפשר אחרת לי?
תראה מה רשמתי.
הנה היא עונה, רגע. היא נותנת לאט.
איזה מהר היא עונה.
כן, אבל היא כותבת לאט.
לא, לא ממש.
או שהיא כותבת הרבה.
אמן סלע.
אהוב חיי על הקייטנה, אז עוד איזה שעה.
אמא לתפארת, לא יעזור לאף אחד.
זה יפה שהיא רוצה עוד ילדים.
היא מתה לעוד ילדים, לא רוצה.
אז מה הבעיה שלה? אתה יודע, זה גם...
למצוא את האחד המתאים, מה זה?
מתאים.
לא רוצה לגדל אותם לבד.
חשבתי שהיא רוצה רק ילד, כאילו בלי...
לא, היא רוצה ילדים, לא ילד. היא רוצה עוד איזה 4-5.
איזה חולה הוא. אני כן מוכן לקרוא זה.
אז קרה, זה רע עמלק. עוד זרע של צמחוני, איכס. הורדת לי את כל האוויר ממנו, שאמרת לי שהוא צמחוני.
פסקטרי, זה כמעט צמחוני, זה חצי כזה, חצי כוח צמחוני. הוא לא טבעוני לפחות, אתה יודע, אלה הכי קשים. הוא כשהכרנו אותו היה, אתה יודע, על הגבול. לא הייתי קורא לזה שמאלני, אבל הוא היה על הגבול.
אתה יודע שזה חלק מהצמחונות והטבעונות? זה יהירות, כאילו התנסות מעל אחרים.
זה המקומות שהוא מסתובב בהם. הוא הולך, אתה יודע, לכל הפסטיבלים של האיפים, שניפים, כל האלה, מה אתה חושב שנמצא שם תנועת בית"ר? אתה יודע, בן גביר, הוא לא, אתה יודע, בחורות כאלה, שערות בצ'טים, כאלה. זה בדרך כלל שמאלניות. זה הסביבה שהוא מסתובב, אתה יודע, הוא לא יכול, בוא נגיד שהוא לא אומר חופשי את הדעות שלו שם.
2 ounces of gold, they spot on.
לא, עכשיו, זה לא רק המקומות האלה, גם שהוא גר. תסתכל איפה שהוא גר. זה רק שמאלנים גרים שם, אין אחד ימני באזור.
10,000 is not going to do it at all, but you will win 3 ounces of silver.
המרכז זה
600K,
של הצנטור
10
של הפיילה
ounces
של תל אביב.
of silver. 520K over here. Anybody else want
איפה
this?
כיכר המדינה וכאלה?
635 over
No,
here.
no,
So
it's
520 gets this. 635 gets
אותו
this.
קו,
300 gets that.
בכיוון הים.
300?
זה גם...
גובריות.
כן, צפון הישן. בוא נגיד שאין שם ימני. ואם יש זה מאוד מאוד מינורי. מה?
ברגעים של עצר, גלגל לך 10.
זה המשפטי סבא כאלה של זה, צ'צ'קטי. זה של סקווירט? צודק, ככה גם אני חשבתי שזה זה. אחד זה הכי חולה.
פאק.
זה מיכל. לדעתי היא צילמה את עצמה ו...
לא. קיה.
היי חווה.
Hi guys.
היי, how are you?
I'm good. Excited. I have a question actually. What is your opinion maybe? Why did BB only go to Myanmar today for the first time since October 7th?
What is the question? Why is the first time or why
Yeah.
is going there?
No. I know
Why
why.
the first time?
Why only now?
It's
It feels like that my empathize. I just lost one of my parents, and he lost his mom. You know, so I can
Want to just buy more fakes because like it is just. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly. Supportive of their dad, but I'm pretty sure they know that their dad isn't perfect. I mean, they've seen him be casting, and I'm sure, we were just like wondering what type of conversation that Diddy is having with his kids. Because it all can't be like, oh, the government is out to get me type shit. There has to be, in my mind, some accountability for his very, public act.
Yeah.
So I do have a video and it's talking about the verdict. It is a long video. It is from CBS News and it's about an hour long. If y'all want to play this, we can play this like 5-10 minute increments.
I don't know about that. That's long.
Yeah.
Hey, Patty.
Yes.
Patty, before you do that, can I just say this? Because it's about Infinity, before y'all change the subject. So last night I came into the room late, and I just wanted you guys to be aware. I came in late. When I came in, he was already talking into the frustration, I guess, of the conversation that was going on. And so Mel, even after you left, you know how he was whining before you left. He continued to do that, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I happened to look down in this chat. And, before that, Scotty addressed him, called him basically despicable. That was probably the worst word he used, but he talked about Infinity and how he plays, the things he's saying, and he's saying, thank you, Jesus, and, even though he was not religious himself, he kind of went there with Infinity. So
Well, I said.
Infinity started in the chat. He started to called Scotty a bitch in the chat, and then he started to. Scotty wasn't here very long, but he was going in the chat on Ramona. He was calling her bitches and fat and stuff. So just so you guys know, I kicked his ass out.
Oh, okay.
Because I was deleting him at first. But he continued to do it. I didn't say anything to him. I didn't even open my mouth and say anything to him, but I kicked him out. I did not block him, but I kicked him out because it was not necessary for him to go in on her, to keep calling her bitches. So I kicked him out. Just wanted y'all to know, because he's going to come in whining today, and if he does and I'm in the room, I have no problem telling him that it was me, but I did that. He probably think it's Haitian, and so but it was.
But I was deleting his messages in the chat, and he kept doing the shit over and over and over and over again.
I was too. I was deleting him too. We both were, and he just kept doing it. He was mad that Scotty put it, he called him out.
Yep.
But just wanted you to know. Wanted y'all to know it was me.
Deborah,
Well,
just in case you got a new nickname in the chat. Deborah, please.
I have him blocked.
I have him blocked forever, and him and Anthony, they blocked forever. So,
Thank you, Miss Deborah. Miss Deborah, thank you. And also, yeah, to be clear, my only statement was, look, I'm not a Christian, but we had two Christians on stage who were citing gospel, or citing the Bible and the verses and things like that. And I was mentioning to him that it is an affront on Christianity and the people that I know that are good Christians who care about people, migrants, whatever, that you use Christianity in a way that is despicable. And even your sign off when you say thank you Jesus is an affront to Jesus himself and everybody that purports to love Jesus and love his teachings, and it's disgusting. So I called him out.
Yeah, I mean, when I was talking to him, I think I probably was the first person just in that particular conversation to bring up the Bible verse, a biblical concept, right? And I said to him, because he kept being like, what if I'm struggling? I'm struggling. I'm trying to overcome, my vices or whatever. And I said, well, we all have choice, And I said, Manfinity, as a man thinketh, so is he. That's what the Bible says. And he was like, what? I said, as a man thinketh, so is he. He was like, wait, where'd you get that from? I was like, the Bible? And he literally was like, can you repeat that? Like, y'all, that is such a basic.
He has never studied. He has never studied.
I mean, and so I think Thomas or somebody,
I don't know.
The F grade, put the actual, because it's like a longer sentence, but it's just like, that is basic biblical knowledge. And he was just like, wait, what is that? What is it again? Because I don't know it. I know some little biblical things y'all be saying, but I don't know. I'm not familiar. What was it? Oh my
God. That's a regular book, Dr. Goddess, also.
Yeah.
As a man thinking.
What is it that it's a regular what?
It's a regular book, like a life book. As a man thinking.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, literally, I was thrown off when he was like, what was that? Can you repeat that? And I was like, what, as a man thinking?
Yes, so as a man thinking, so is he. So
I'm like,
but one last thing that he did also, which I thought
that's
was
wrong. Proverbs 23:7.
Wait, Patty, are you serious?
No, I'm good. I've never heard of it.
Oh, okay, but still, you ain't on here professing how Christian you are. You know what I'm saying, and trying to preach to other people. You know what I mean?
I went to Catholic church or Catholic school, and I had to go to church on Wednesdays with them. But
one last thing he did that was out of line, guys, was we was going back and forth with Thomas too. That's who he was really mad at.
Yeah, Thomas was mad at his week. He was on.
But what Manfinity did was he started saying, now I see why Lisa don't like your ass. Lisa wasn't in the room, right? And so I thought, that wasn't right. And he just kept saying it over and over. Now I see why she don't like your ass. And then don't nobody like you, Lisa and nobody else. And all of that together. But it was the final straw was the bitches to Ramona.
Yeah, because Ramona wasn't even on stage when I left.
That's crazy. She wasn't. She wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Manfinity, like a typical so-called conservative Christian, I'm pretty sure that he has a porn addiction. And he's also clearly a misogynist. And so, he likes women, likes sex, but he hates women and can't get sex. And therefore, that's his conundrum. God bless.
Wait, so y'all really think he's into cartoon porn? That's what Patience said. What's it called?
Yo, he was the one who said that night No, were you there that night when he was doing that fucking game that night?
He was talking about the furries.
Yeah.
Porn.
Yes. And that motherfucker trying to say that I was making that up. I didn't even know what the fuck that was.
That is hysterical.
That was the first time I heard it too.
Exactly.
Yeah. He clearly has a porn addiction. Clearly. Which you know, y'all I know y'all, I'm sure y'all know this, that during the Republican conventions and stuff like that, like the
Grindr,
the prostitution rate and stuff like that is sky high, and also
gay ones, the gay website,
and gay, and that porn is the highest. The sites, they have the highest rates of watching porn come from the conservative states.
Wow.
Yeah, because everybody hates them and they ain't getting none.
Yeah, I mean, people, they're hypocrites on every single level. And it's like, if you didn't hate women so much, maybe we would want to date you, but we don't. And he had the nerve to, I guess I get it. I guess you could see yourself as a degenerate, just like Diddy, certainly. But, I think it's his narcissism that, like, in some ways thinks that he's Diddy. And it's just like, oh boy, just go sit down. Just be quiet. We really don't care. I mean, fight your fight, but you're on this app preaching everybody. Like, you're on this app, telling everybody how you're so righteous and you're following God's word, and that's why you're following Trump and so on and so forth. I mean, come on.
And he should really use the word evangelical. He is not a Christian, and they are not the same. So he needs to stop that shit. He's a white evangelical nationalist, is what he is.
Exactly.
In blackface.
And he wondering why he can't find the answers for his life. And Ed Bell called him out. He tried to pretend last night, y'all, that he was light-skinned. He tried to pretend that the PTR in his picture.
Yeah, the one with the waves and the cross haircut on the sides. Did you guys see him? I said, he's all, that's me. I said, that ain't true, bro. You a liar. That's a light-skinned dude.
Remember, like, you showed us your picture. Remember, because you went to the...
He was like, no, I showed you a pinky. I said, no, you showed us both of your hands. You had your hands like that, folded in front of you. Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. We was like, you dark-skinned, brother. Like, why you mad? How you gonna be mad? You gonna be trying to pretend that now you're light-skinned. Oh, my God.
Because he wants to be white.
He does.
A cowboy and a Christian ain't the same thing. Somebody I tell.
Tell him, Water, when he come in here, you tell him.
Oh, hell no. You know how long that conversation oh, I ain't got that.
If I tell him, he just gonna leave. Because I can't stand him. I don't have him blocked. I don't even have Anthony blocked no more. I used to have Anthony blocked. And I probably will block him again. I unblocked him because Lisa liked to have him in his spaces, but when he was in her spaces, I couldn't stay.
I feel it. I'm still that way. Y'all do such a good job moderating, but even so, it's like, you can only go, there's no making sense of insanity, and a lot of times, man, like, those conversations just devolve into insanity, and I get it, like, some people are shy, it's hard for them to make new friends, so I want to hold space for everybody. That being said, not at the expense of my sanity.
At least if we having these dudes on the hook, she'd be like, Manny, you guys don't block Manny. And then she'd be like, fuck you.
Where's my Dougie? I'm just like
a rescue.
You're calling for it.
Like it's a cowboy rescue. What the hell?
And then she clearly expresses different values than they do. So I'm just like, y'all clearly don't understand like when you're being psychologically toyed with. But yeah. So I don't know if y'all know Dante, but if you don't, just ignore this. But I went into a room. I didn't know it was a room I had been in before, but I never knew that Dante was a top left person. But he was top left, and so it was about Diddy. And
yeah, he opened up that room because you know the room I told you to go into where Albert was at.
Whatever.
Yes, yesterday.
I went.
Right. So Dante was in that room, but they didn't let him speak, and that's when he said, "Fuck y'all, I'm gonna open up my own motherfucking room in House of Hustle." So that's why he went and opened up that Diddy room.
Okay, all right. Well, I wound up there,
and everyone else.
And you know, all these people defending Diddy, so I'm writing in the chat, I'm trolling them. I'm not even ripping on them. I'm just putting facts in. You know, they're calling Cassie all types of hoes and so on and so forth. So I'm just stating the facts, and he's furious. Like he was like, he started like he didn't want to acknowledge that he was speaking to me at first. And he was like, you know, like if you write in the chat, you know, you could just come up on stage and say what you got to say, you know, like, you know, he's like, look, I ain't scared of nobody. I ain't afraid to debate nobody. And he sent me the link, like he invited me to speak, but I didn't come up, right? So I just kept writing in the chat. And he got more and more furious. And then finally he was like, yeah, so Dr. Goddess, you in the chat. You know, why don't you come and debate me? He was like, why don't you come up and debate me? Like, you got so much to say in the chat. And so I wrote him and I said, you want me to come up and speak to you?
Sure.
And I said, I could come up. So, you know, I came up. I got like 5 different invitations. So I came up. And he was like, so I mean, what's your problem with Diddy? Like, well, I mean, what, you know, what's the issue here? Like, well, I mean, why you been so mad at him? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? You know, and I said, well,
that is also what I'm.
I said, I've seen what he's done over the years. And I said, and this for me is not so much just about this case. I said, Diddy is a terrible person. He belonged in jail a long time ago. And I said, and y'all keep talking about, you know, because he has children and he has loved ones. And I said, what about all the black lives that he ruined along the way here? What black lives? What you mean? What you mean? So I started with Craig Mack, you know. Then they wanted to go down and be like, no, he signed a contract. I mean, it ain't Diddy's responsibility to help him. I said, it actually is. You know, like that's his argument. You know, but he got paid, he got a check. I said, and if he got sick, it's Diddy's responsibility to help him. And I said, then, you know, if you want to just go around and be just like the so-called exploitative white man in the industry, then don't come out and say how you're a black leader. This is all about love and, you know, you want to be there for people. Moved on to Mace. Mace, you know, they were like, and like a lot of the people, this is what I'm realizing, y'all. Like, I'm like, okay, I am a little older, but I ain't that old, okay?
All right, y'all said y'all don't want to talk about Diddy.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't have to talk about it.
We talk about Diddy and some other people on Clubhouse. If y'all want to talk about Diddy, we can go back.
I was just going to say, it'd be faster to name the people he actually helped.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, but anyway, it's just, you know, it's just toxic. And long story short, the other thing I want to say, this is about Diddy, but that Wack came in. They pinged in Wack, thinking that because Wack knows these artists and he signs contracts that he was going to talk to me, but he actually didn't. He was just talking about some different contracts. But one thing that was revealed is that this guy JP, he's from I guess Wisconsin.
Are we going to talk about Diddy or we want to talk about something else? Because y'all still going back to Diddy.
No, this isn't Diddy. No, this isn't Diddy. This isn't Diddy. No, I just want to tell y'all.
No, I just want to tell you about this exchange. This is not Diddy. It's just that this dude.
Yeah, but I don't like talking about whack either, because he'll start coming in your room with the dumb shit. Yeah, because he came in ADHD's room the other day just because somebody brought up his name. Like, I don't do that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't play with these type of people.
Yeah, no, I agree, because I mean...
Unless they in the room, y'all want to address them. Bring them in. And then have that conversation with him. But
he was already there. I didn't even want to talk to him then, so I'm good. If anybody wants to know, we can do a private room.
Now, if you want to do a conversation about how great he is, go ahead, do that. But I ain't gonna talk down on nobody in here unless they in here. Not that type of motherfucker. Hey, Brooklyn, how you doing, babe?
Hey.
Where Brooklyn at? What'd you say yesterday, man?
When I was looking for Brooklyn. Oh, man.
I did find an article about what's going on with the U.S. and Israeli strikes and what the nuclear experts are saying. So, like, Iran could become more dangerous now. Before it was, like, uranium enrichment. A lot of experts were saying they were doing it because the U.S. was on some bullshit, playing with their money. Now they're talking about their suspicions that now they're going to try to, like, fix their nuclear facilities, maybe build private ones, and try to get access to a damn weapon. Because y'all keep playing on their time.
I heard North Korea gave them some tanks or something recently. I can't remember.
Could have, because they have to have the warhead and they have to have a vehicle to launch it from, whether it's a plane, a truck, something. They have to have something to launch it from. So, I do have a clip. It's like 2 minutes long, and they're talking about this. It's from ABC News, yeah. We want to music room.
And what evidence are they talking about here when they're referring to the impact of the strikes and new information? Well, Diane, there's no doubt that these bombs caused considerable damage. What we're learning now is that there were 12 of these massive ordnance penetrators that were essentially dropped right over ventilation shafts of this massive Fordo facility inside of Iran. This is a nuclear facility. They say it did considerable damage. We are told by sources that this DIA report has confirmed that considerable damage was caused at this site. But the question really here is whether or not it hit the enriched uranium that's at the heart of the Iran's nuclear program, and whether or not some of it was moved out in advance. So what we heard today was Pete Hegseth saying, look, I haven't seen anything that suggests we didn't hit exactly what we needed to, and you can look at these images and see the damage there. They're not going to be operating out of this facility anytime soon. Now, when the question went to General Kane on this, who is of course, the president's top military advisor, he said, look, BDA is not my business. This is battle damage assessment. We're not going to grade our own homework. We're going to leave that up to the intelligence community to decide exactly where Iran's nuclear program stands. But he said there was no doubt this was a military success, Diane. And we're also now hearing from Iran's supreme leader for the first time in weeks, and he's declaring victory, saying Iran delivered a heavy slap to America's face. What do you make of that, and what does that mean for possible talks with the U.S.?
Yeah, I mean, I think on one level, no great surprise in what Ali Khamenei had to say. As you say, he declared victory over Israel. He said we delivered a blow to America, referring to the strike in Qatar at the Al Udeid air base, claiming that missiles had landed there when obviously they hadn't, claiming that Israel would never have managed to survive intact unless America had come to its aid. I mean, this is all about the domestic domestic audience. I think what's really interesting is he has exactly the same background, this brown curtain in this video message, as he's had in previous messages. It's not an appearance in public. Is it proof of life? Because there's been speculation as to whether or not he is alive. I guess so, because it was clearly recorded after the ceasefire, after the attack in Al Udeid. But is it proof that he's come above ground, out of hiding? Absolutely not. Was it live? No. When was it recorded? We don't know. So I think it leaves many questions there. I think the messaging, like I say, is entirely predictable from Iran's supreme leader, and we're getting reports of a crackdown on dissent inside Iran. At least 3 executions of late, dozens of people arrested. Our team speaking to Iranians inside the country. They're very scared to talk, but those who are talking about an atmosphere of fear as the regime cracks down, as it tries to reassert its control. So, no surprises in the statement. I think they've got problems at home. How significant? We'll have to wait and see.
And what's the next step in assessing how successful these strikes were, and how critical is that assessment to our national security? Yeah, I think you're going to hear from other agencies. They're going to be producing their own classified reports. I mean, the Energy Department, NSA, CIA, they're all going to have a say in this, and they're going to try to coordinate their intelligence, and eventually we'll get some sort of declassified statement from the intelligence community that says this is where we think the Iranian program stands. Now, I think it's very likely that this attack could have very well set back Iran's nuclear ambitions by years and not months, because that was a very early assessment that we were reporting on. But I think all of this just pulls into question this, this idea of the president coming to the cameras very early on in this and declaring total victory, saying that these targets had been obliterated. That's of course not a military term. So when you get into the nuance of this, there could be more to it, and all of this matters because of course nobody wants a nuclear-armed Iran, at least not Western powers or the U.S. That's what's at stake here. That's what we're hoping to learn in the months to come. And Ian, part of what's complicating this too is Iran's level of cooperation or lack thereof with nuclear inspectors. Where does that stand now?
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't forget that the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, which is this UN nuclear watchdog, hasn't been able to get access to the site. I'll be speaking to Israeli officials, nor have they. And interestingly, most Israeli officials are echoing what you're hearing from the Pentagon. Some are saying perhaps it's months, but most feel it's probably years. One senior military official said to me, anyone who's saying that it's been totally wiped out is probably wrong. Anyone who's saying that it wasn't a successful mission is probably wrong, but we won't know for a considerable period of time. But we've just had this vote in the Iranian parliament, which is not binding because this is an authoritarian theocracy and only the supreme leader gets to decide. But nevertheless, this vote is to withdraw cooperation with the IAEA. Again, it's hard to know, going back to Ali Khamenei's speech, how much of this is flag waving and how much of it is true intent. I think withdrawing cooperation, any suggestion they've stored some enriched uranium, they may be starting up their nuclear program again. The Israelis and the Americans have been very clear that will be unacceptable, and it's hard to imagine that Iran hasn't heard that message.
All right, and Clarity and panel, thank you both.
No, it feels like a lot of fluff. Nobody was really telling us what's happening over there today. That's what I like to do, is ask ChatGPT, hey, how many people died today in Israel, and why? These are things that we don't want to see the images. These are things we should be doing at least.
Oh, right now Iran isn't letting anyone in, no independent body, to verify the status of this program. It says here in this article, Iran is still evaluating whether it will stay in the NPT. They said on the Iranian state TV following the vote by Parliament last week. They pretty much say that they are evaluating where they're going to stay. The NPT also requires inspections by IAEA to verify compliance with the treaty, so it remains unclear how Iran will comply with this aspect of the treaty given the new law. Whether or not Iran will stay in the NPT needs to be investigated, according to Argachi, who said that Iran will act accordingly with the interests of the country.
Hey, quick question. How much do you pay for rent in Canada?
So me and my roommate actually split $3,200 for a 2-bed, 2-bath, and I...
Connecticut, father from New Jersey.
So right now,
why was it?
Experts are saying it.
What was that, Betty? He growling and shit.
Yeah, and a dog outside the door, but if I open the door, his ass will stay in the house. The punk. That's the kind of dog I got.
What kind of dog is it?
Let me bring Gemini up. So, I think he left. Oh, no, he's
teacups. You know, they're louder than their fucking body.
A Pomeranian? A teacup Pomeranian? Yeah, they bad. They be about that business.
That Brown sounded like he was on business, like.
Yeah, I thought he was a pit bull for a second. Like, what the hell?
If I walk him outside and a dog start barking, he be looking at me like I'm not moving.
Yeah, like pick me up.
I'm not gonna pee, I'm not gonna shit, I ain't doing a damn thing. But then as soon as you get in the house, right, because my neighbor got a dog, that dog will be barking. As soon as he get in the house, he'll be standing at the door with the door closed, barking and shit. But you get his ass outside near that gate, that mug be like, what's going on here? Have you lost your damn mind, that dog big?
My dogs be trying to fight each other. They be trying to fight other dogs so bad. It's terrible. I can't.
That's that dominance. They battle for dominance.
Yeah, one be trying to tell the other one to chill out, and they just get to fighting. And bullies fighting is crazy. Like my cousin got shih tzus and go crazy when they start fighting, but when bullies fight, that's like violent.
Well, you got bullies.
Yeah, I had a American bully and a pit bull.
I should have known. That fits your personality.
Of course. And you breed them, don't you? Because I want one. I want them
I got 21.
Gemini, Kiki, haha, where were you yesterday?
I was chasing people around the app that owe me money.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, we was looking for you. We was like, where's Gemini?
I was really chasing people around the app.
He was collective.
Gemini was getting attacked.
Hey, Patty, I stand in the paint. I don't need no bean. I will stand in the paint and bang fire. I'm good with that.
Did y'all talk about the big funky bill?
Yeah, unless you got some. Go ahead, babe. Talk on it.
No, I just heard that they had made some modifications and sent it back today, last night, and they said something about it was like a few Republicans that was voting against it last night, and then this morning they changed to yes.
Yeah, all but one.
That's
all the others changed it, yeah. So last night it was 5 no's and 8 no votes. By this morning it's 1 no. That's it. Fitzpatrick's the only one that held it down. And Hakeem Jeffries has been talking 6 hours now. And the slowest fucking voice ever. Like the dog.
Is he doing that thing that whatchamacallit did? Not the filibuster.
Filibuster?
No, he's just trying to prolong the, he's trying to prolong.
Gotcha.
This shit is so funny. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and
Yeah,
play
he
it.
just he didn't want him to do it in the middle of the night. He wanted everybody to be awake.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's funny. He talking slow on purpose.
This nigga's funny as shit.
A similar story. An inheritance from our parents and our grandparents, all of us. We have that kind of story to tell. Why am I so thankful that my parents made what I believe was a tough personal decision, but of course the right decision? It's because what that union membership actually meant to my journey and my younger brother's journey. 1973, my younger brother was born with a serious heart condition. He's okay right now. He's doing well. Right now, he continues to say on social media that he's our mother's favorite son. Let me say from the house floor, no, you are not. I think she favors both of us. The younger brother in 1973, he's born with a serious heart condition.
Yeah, he was super slow this morning. It was like, and I want to speak on a single mother from New Jersey.
What they do when they gotta use the bathroom? I be wondering that.
Probably has a sack on the side of his leg.
This baby standing up there. They be up there all night long. I be wondering, like,
Alright, let's
what y'all wearing Pampers?
question.
What y'all going on?
I said I need to get a clubhouse and become a moderator, because that nigga can talk.
Cory Booker said that he dehydrated himself for several days. I mean, he went through a whole procedure when he did his.
He did what now? He was dehydrated.
He dehydrated himself so he wouldn't have to pee.
That is crazy.
But he did like certain things in reversing. Yeah.
Wow.
He said, yeah, it is dangerous. That's why he was able to beat that record. But he didn't have a diaper, he didn't have a bag, none of that.
I would
he dehydrated himself.
A diaper would make more sense now. Golly.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yep. And he kind of had a lot of energy because he was doing interviews at the end and all sorts of stuff. So
I'm saying, but what if you got a shit? What if you got a shit? People don't shit no more.
He fasted and his body, fasted his body and didn't eat or drink, in order to prepare for all of that stuff. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Brooklyn, you already know all politicians is full of shit.
But still, I think Jeffrey has to do something because a lot of people are angry at Jeffries. Like, I feel like a lot of people feel like he's out of touch because he's talking about the Mandami. He's like, I don't know who he is. So he refused to endorse Mandami. I don't know if there's any conversation about him in a sit down or whatever with Mandami, but it doesn't seem like any sort of willingness to cooperate. I mean, he is the Democratic candidate. I mean, at least I would think maybe one of the most powerful Democrats in the state of New York would want to sit down with the potential, mayor of New York. And y'all are both in the same party, although vastly different takes on Israel, right? But honestly, like, you would think you want the best for New York City, right? And I don't know if I necessarily want my New York City politicians having a policy about Israel.
Well, it's a, the Jewish community is very prevalent in New York City, so I'm sure they're gonna have some kind of policy or something, they're gonna feel some kind of way about Israel.
I always heard that. Is it that many Jewish community and like that?
When I was in school, we got Jewish holidays off and that's why I tell people I'm part Jewish too, cause shit.
Right.
I celebrated all their holidays.
Right, BK, it's part of your culture. That's for real.
It's the second largest population of Jews outside of Israel.
Damn.
It's in New York City, yeah.
Yeah, I always heard that. I just didn't know if it was true.
And Jews get a lot of their culture from us.
Yeah, I got a lot of. Who is us? Water. I need you to stop. So I was about to say.
You from California?
I be trying to make sure because he be ussing on certain things. Yeah.
Yo, Brooklyn, wildin'. Hey, Brooklyn, I had to think about it. Like yesterday, I'm getting called lame by a pro Diddy prostitute, and a nigga that live No, but I'm not making this up, Patty. She
I know you talking about. I was in there. I got you on my goddamn nerves. But I'm going to involve you.
Yeah, I'm getting called lame by a pro Diddy prostitute.
What are you talking about, Lance?
Yeah, of course. You already know what I'm talking about.
You was in there and you heard that conversation.
Yeah, I did.
And fucking Bullet Scotty's lying ass. We made I was looking through our replays trying to find that room in here. I don't know how to find the room. Like we don't
do replays in here. We don't record.
I noticed. That's what I was like, fuck, because the more I look, I couldn't find it.
It wasn't our room. You did it in, from what Mel said, it was done in that wood.
No. He only did 2 at the wood. I don't know what other house he had out there. I don't know what else bets you have in the other houses.
I won my bets in the wood. They solid. They paid up.
Yeah.
It's Bullet.
That's what I'm saying. You did another one somewhere else. I don't know about those other ones.
It was either Lisa's or Politically Correct. It was one of the two. I don't know which one though.
It was probably 420 because he be going over there. He don't really come over here.
Because he blocked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nobody. I hate.
And she records her rooms, but
I don't want him to drown in a fucking puddle of piss. I swear to God.
Gemini, that girl that changed her thing at the last minute, and then she wanted to go against you. She paid you. One that was like euros. Give me my money in euros.
Her crazy ass. She paid yesterday.
Why you
at the last minute? That was weird.
Last minute, she want to be like, I'm like,
what
she's like, you sure you want to go against me? You want to go against me?
Right? Like, you just want to give me money? Like, what are you
$100.
For what?
That
my bet was that Diddy would be found guilty of one or some of the charges. They were that he would be either not guilty or hung jury.
Yeah. Okay.
Light work.
I know you was worried at first, Gemini, when they kept saying not guilty.
Yeah, when they kept counting 2 through 5. Remember we had the 2 through 5 rule?
Yeah.
I knew it was lit. I knew some of them had to be guilty charges.
Yeah, but you know what? The one he got charged guilty for, I didn't see that one.
The transportation?
Yeah, transportation and Cassie and
trafficking, you mean?
That's not. I don't